I'm Adam Soundboy and welcome to my walkthrough of the Metamorphosis Master Solo Lost Sector. This is on Savathûn's Throne World. You'll see it's up there in Miasma, Metamorphosis. You can mark it if you want to. If you're less familiar with the location of some of these, then that makes it easier to find. You'll be dropping into Quagmire. So I'm doing this on a Well Warlock. Set that up as you like. I'm using Osteo Striga, which is really good against Overload champions. Hopefully you will have got that from the Witch Queen. Staccato 46, which is a world drop. There are no arc scout rifles that have adaptive munitions, so I'm using a solar one. There is one solar shield in here, but otherwise adaptive munitions I think is pretty much necessary for going through any match game content. As well as that, because it's an arc burn, I'm using Hothead. My one has Clown Cartridge for two in the barrel, I suppose, and I'm using that with field prep for faster reloads and better reserves, and alloy casing for better reloads on top of that. So my setup will be using I'm going to be using wells for recovery, so you can see I've got armaments there, I've got the rocket launcher ammo finder. That just basically means I'll have a few wells that I can use because I'm not going to be using classy restoration. So I'll need as many wells as I can get. So elemental ordnance, again, anything that I get grenade kill with will give me a well, as well as the anti-champion mods. I realise with the Starfire protocol I probably should have used an arc version of this because I have no arc resist. Probably would make it easier. Concussive dampener will help a little bit. On the boots, you can see I've got the scavengers and I'm using Shield Crash Wellmaker. Again, there's one solar shield in here, so that's just something I know. Give me a little bit extra recovery because you've got attrition going on. Using Revitalizing Blast and Solar Fulmination, which are really good for clearing out ads, and using Well of Life here in order to get a boost to recovery when I pick up a well. So as I say, that's very much because I don't have classy restoration on. I'm using 100 resilience. You should always aim for 100 resilience and then put whatever other stat, put your reserve points into any other stats that you feel appropriate. Like with all of the lost sectors, I would always recommend doing the legend version first, just to make sure you know where the ads are. It gives you a kind of a slightly easier walkthrough, but it familiarises yourself with the layout. So this has 3 rooms in, first, second and third. First one's pretty straightforward. Second one has one tricky section, can be tricky at the far end. Third section again can be tricky. This is I think my third attempt. Died once in the second room, once in the third room. So we're here on Savathûn's Throne World, so we'll just sparrow through to the entrance and then we'll start. Right, the marker for the Master Lost Sector is in the open here. Can be really annoying when there are ads around. I do wish that the markers were somewhere where it's a little easier to get to. Well, not easier to get to, but just a little bit more protected so you weren't under fire. So just going to double check the modifiers here for Master. As you can see, obviously you've got the champions, you've got the limited revives, you've got the locked equipment, you've got the match game. Champions, so you've got Overload and Unstoppable, Arc Burn, Attrition, so you won't recover your health as fast, and additional shielded foes, so that's Arc and Arc and Solar. So you will spawn into the first room. You will have Overload champions immediately in front of you, 2 that you will have initially visible. So you want to try and stun them. If you can stun them quickly, that will clear out any ads that are around them. So there we go, that's the first Overload, which you can see that has cleared a few ads around them. The single shot from rocket launcher will then finish them off. That will bring the attention of, there will be a few ads that will, there we go, that will push you. Just be ready for those. And then that shot pattern means that's going to be the champion, because they're firing very, very quickly. So again, same thing. And this time the tick damage from Osteo Striga finishes them off. So I now have a couple of snipers that are going to be around, and this is where the solar shielded, I think that's a captain, chieftain. Now this is where I also realise that I've put Empowering Rift on rather than Healing Rift, so that's not doing me any good, but I don't realise that until I almost die. So now all you can do, because there are none of those attrition wells of light that you can use to recover health, all I can do here is wait, by which time they have forgotten all about me. So there we go, just trying to take the chieftain down. And finally, this will be the last, on the right hand side, the last of the snipers. There's something there on the left hand side, so I'm just going to go and have a look, clear that out. There we go, just a lurker. Right, now down below there is an arc shielded knight that has an invulnerability shield on, which is controlled by these 3 crystals. If you shoot the 3 crystals, the invulnerability shield disappears. Also, as you can see, there's a few more. Yeah. A few more snipers, so we'll get rid of those. I didn't realise that, and that almost killed me. That just shows you that I really should have put arc resist on, that there was a moth attached to that knight. So again, all I can do here is just wait to recover. But the nice thing about this is that those two will just be fighting each other, so the unstoppable champion with its arc attacks will be taking the knight down, and the knight again will gradually be whittling away. Even with 90% damage resist on the unstoppable, will gradually whittle down the health of the unstoppable champion. Annoying thing is here, obviously, the knight is recovering, or able to recover behind that barrier that it puts up, and I have no anti-barrier weapons to pierce that, to stop him from regenerating. And if you stay a reasonable fair way away, then you won't get troubled by too much by either of them. Certainly not the unstoppable champion. Won't pay you that much attention until the knight is down. So just a little bit of help there to finish off the knight. And now we can turn our attention to the unstoppable. Again, I don't think I dropped any heavy in here, so I'm going to decided that I'm going to take it down with primary. There we go. I could have finished there, but to be honest, it was still taking tick damage from the Osteo Striga round, so I probably wouldn't have got there in time. Just having one quick check just to make sure there is no heavy, but I didn't think there was. Right, so room 2, through this door at the end and down, you'll see immediately in front of you, once you get clear this kind of hive gunk, immediately underneath there is one of those horrible exploders. So shoot the screeb. I think that's there basically to tempt you to drop straight down and die as a trap. That will probably bring out a number of ads there, including another champion. I'm aiming the champion here in order to get the stun and the kill. You can see quite effective there at clearing the ads around it. It's quite a constrained area, so there's not really much by way of any room for them to get out of the way of that. And then I can shoot from up here, and I'm perfectly safe, pretty much perfectly safe up there to finish him off. Now, around the corner here, there will be a few more ads, depending on which ones wandered up with the Overload champion, but there will also be an Unstoppable that will be attracted by this as well. So if you're lucky there, just get the shot on the Unstoppable, that will kill stuff around it. Another Screeb, I didn't realise that that hadn't died in the explosion, but obviously with that being arc, you really don't want to be anywhere near that when it goes off. So I'm now just going to whittle this guy down, again using primary, even though I've got a block there. You should have plenty of time in here, so actually, you know, waiting until he either stops paying attention to you or waiting until you've recovered all your health, perfectly viable, especially when you've forgotten to put a healing rift down. So there we go. He's finishable now if you wanted to, but if you want to be safe, just wait for him to become vulnerable to stunning again. And there we go. Seeing that little healing well run down the hill to me like that makes me think that possibly Seeking Wells, the mod, might be useful here. I'm not sure whether they work on those little healing wells, but anyway, it would be useful if they did, just to make them track to me. Now, this final area here has 3 of those crystals again. They can be in much more awkward positions. Fortunately for me here, the Unstoppable doesn't pay me any heed at all, even when I'm shooting kind of behind his head a bit at this stage, although he will start paying attention to me in a little while. But I'm just trying to work out where the other 2 crystals are. So you might need to walk around the wall or up and down, jump up and down to try and see them. I can't see them there. I'm going to try again. There's an area up top where there's that lamp you can see. So that is one area where behind that kind of rock another crystal could appear. It's probably worth coming in here on the normal version a few times so you can see where the crystals can do. I didn't notice there, it was there on the left as I jumped up. I'm still wondering if it's on the in that area there, but given that I'm being paid no attention whatsoever at the moment, I go down and I discover I was thinking about jumping up to that little ledge. Now that they are done, I am ready to take on the Unstoppable and the Knight. Unfortunately, that's the moment at which they decide that they're going to pay me some attention. So it's once the crystals go down that all of a sudden they decide that I'm worth paying some attention to. So you can see the Unstoppable is actually quite low and he's looking at me. So yeah, definitely looking at me. And the Knight seems to have gone back to hide somewhere, so he's not actively attacking the Unstoppable attention to take the Unstoppable to take his attention away. Nevertheless, we can finish him off here probably. Oh, he's come out, so bit of luck there, but because I don't have tracking rockets on, but that has cleared that's cleared the Knight out. Right, pickup of ammo. So into the final room. So you're dropping down, and this is a kind of a square room with a pillar in each corner and a big pit in the middle. You'll initially have an Unstoppable, which I'm going to try and... But after spawning, I'm going to try and hit the Unstoppable and stun it. So again, you can see that's really effective at clearing out the ads. Move to the other corner in order to try and put myself as much room between me and the things that are doing damage. You can see they're coming round both sides. So I'm going to try and clear the crystals that I can, stun the Unstoppable. See if I can finish the Unstoppable off. And there we go, and that's good. That gives me one of those healing wells. Right, so you'll see as soon as I take the shield off, the invulnerability shield off, he will go and hide. This is where having Clown Cartridge is really useful, because otherwise the you've got one shot off and then the invisibility shield comes back, invulnerability shield comes back very quickly. So to finish off, you've got that second round of ads which spawns in as soon as every time that the shield goes back on. So I am clearing these crystals, reloading. Yeah, poor shot there, but he's coming around the corner, so that is going to guarantee to finish him off. I think a few more ads have spawned in, so get rid of those and that's done. So I'd say that's pretty straightforward. Maybe a couple of trickier areas in the second and third room, in the boss room. I probably wasn't set up optimally. I didn't really use or take advantage of my exotic armor. I wasn't getting the infinite fusion grenades either against the ads or for kind of the beefier champions and bosses. So you've probably take a moment to think about how you might use your armor in a better way than I did, and certainly have arc resist on, even with 100 resilience. But even though I wasn't set up optimally there, that's a solo flawless, if not perfect, way of clearing. And the fact I wasn't set up optimally and I still got through fairly easily, I think, demonstrates it's not that difficult a lost sector to finish. I don't think it's really farmable. I'm not sure that it would have been much quicker, even if I'd had healing rifts rather than empowering rifts. But anyway, I hope that's been useful. Thank you for watching the video, and may all your drops be god rolls.